Hello, everyone. I'm Cole from the Kingdom. I'm joined here today with Jackdaw,
Hey,
JackdawJournalism.
hey guys, Jackdaw here.
Thank you for joining me.
Yeah, no worries. Absolute privilege. Honestly, I just thank you for letting me come on.
Happy to have you. So, what we're going to talk about today is, well, why don't we start off with how exactly did you discover Dragon Age?
How did I discover Dragon Age? Okay, so that is quite a long journey, honestly. I discovered Dragon Age because of Mass Effect.
Mm,
So I guess it's a journey of how did I discover BioWare. Um, so I discovered BioWare in about 2010, 2011.
mhm.
I used to play games like Red Dead Redemption and The Sims and games that weren't really very distinct. I had an Xbox 360 and I was just playing games like Halo and just generally playing typical mainstream games, and I really hadn't had an experience that was truly unique. I mean, Halo, Red Dead, they're amazing
Right.
games, but they're just very linear experiences. And when I was about, so I'm 21 now, so 20 to 2019, minus 9 years. So I was about 12. So I was playing this game when I legally couldn't be playing, shouldn't be playing it, but we're not going to talk about it. But I think I actually had this channel playing Dragon Age. No, I legally was able to play Dragon Age when I created my channel. But so I was playing games, Red Dead, interested in the Fallout franchise, and I'd never really played a BioWare game. And we had this rental service, Amazon Prime now.
Yeah,
Back in the day, it was called Love Film. I don't know if you have it in America.
I've never heard of it.
It's a postal rental service. So basically, you'll get movies, you'll get video games, and they send it to you in the post, and you have it for as long as you want, and you pay for the service monthly, and then you send it back to them in the post again when you
Okay.
next want the next game. So I remember my friend always talked to me about this game called Mass Effect, and I'm like, yeah, yeah, but I'm too busy playing Red Dead Redemption online. And he's like, no, but there's this really amazing game called Mass Effect. I'm about 11 at this age, so I'm all into my imagination and creativity and exploring. And I
Right.
was like, okay, this sounds really cool. I'll give it a try. So I remember I played Mass Effect, I played the demo, and I was like, oh my goodness, you can create your character, you can go down this completely different route of choosing your class, having different weapons. Like, what is this game? How do I do this? What's this dialogue? And there was so much freedom. I was like, oh my goodness, how do I get into this? This is amazing. I didn't even know games like this existed.
Mhm.
So it was about 2010. I bought Mass Effect and I loved it. And I was like, okay, what else did BioWare create? What else does this? Or I probably said BioWare because I didn't understand how you pronounced it. I think I called Bethesda Bethesda or Bethesda and like Obsidian. I did not know how to pronounce these games. I was like, okay, what does BioWare create? What else do they create? After Mass Effect 2. So Mass Effect 2 is my favorite game because it's my first ever full-on RPG experience that
Mhm.
I've been like, oh my goodness, you can create a character, you can go down romance. I was 11, I didn't know how to do romance, but you can do so many of these amazing things. I need to see what else they do.
Did you
And
did you start with Mass Effect 2, or did you play
yes,
the?
Mass Effect.
Okay.
I started with Mass Effect 2. Yeah, it was 2010 and it just came out, and that's when my friend was like, "Oh, you need to play this game. Don't play the first one, just play this one." And I
Oh,
was like,
come on.
"I know, I know." But I bought Mass Effect 2, loved it, and then I bought Mass Effect 1. So I played all of I've had Mass Effect 2 and Mass Effect 1 before I did play Dragon Age, and it was around the same time as a game called Kingdoms of Amalur Reckoning came out.
Hmm.
Don't know. Have you heard of that one?
I've heard of it. Yeah.
Yeah. And this was about 2013, 2012. And I remember looking at that game being like, do I get Kingdoms of Amalur Reckoning or do I play Dragon Age? So I went on Love Film and I got Dragon Age Origins. And I played it and I was like, oh, this is really cool. It's got this spark to it. It's got this very special vibe to it, but I just couldn't get into it.
Hmm.
And it's because I really enjoyed it. I loved the story. I remember meeting Morrigan, Liliana, Alistair, these iconic characters. But I remember it was the fact that I'm 11 at this point, and the combat it was so slow and sluggish. And I'm like, whoa, the amazing gameplay of Mass Effect 2 has not been
Yeah.
put into Dragon Age Origins. And I remember because it was on a rental service, I had to give it back, and I was stuck in the circle of Magi Quest, stuck in the Fade,
Hmm.
and I was like, this is not a good experience
Yeah.
to leave this game to finish to just have to give it back. But I was like, you know what, I'm just gonna have to give it back. But I did, and I remember just I remember that Fade quest, and I was like, oh, Dragon Age, that game with the really annoying Fade quest where you're a rat and then you're a different creature and you're having to go through these. And I remember just remember that experience for ages. And I was like, yeah, I'm not gonna go back to that game anytime soon. But my friend was like, okay, play Dragon Age 2. You get a pirate, you get a girlfriend pirate. It's really cool. It's really sick. You can just go through it, and it's a better experience. So I was like, all right, okay. And this was about a year later, so it's about 2013. Mass Effect 3 was coming out, and I was getting really hyped for that. And I was like, all right, I'll give it a try. I'll give it a try. So I played Dragon Age 2, and I thoroughly enjoyed that. But I went to the Deep Roads, and Bethany died. And I was like,
Oh,
no,
no.
no.
Why
And I
would you bring her?
I know, I didn't know. And I googled it and I was like, you should have brought Anders. And I was like, no. And out of sheer distress, I just gave it back to Love Film. I gave the I borrowed. I went nope. I was like, nope, I can't play it again. I was like, no, 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 no. I was like, I'm not continuing because I really enjoyed it. I loved the whole family dynamic and having a friendship and having siblings. And I was like, yeah, no, no, tragic, too tragic. So I gave it back to Love Film, and then it was just going back to Mass Effect. Mass Effect 3 came out, of course, and there was so much hype, and I was just loving all of Mass Effect. I didn't care about the end credits scene. The end, all of it. I didn't care. I was just like, this is amazing. I enjoy the journey. I enjoy the adventure. And I actually made a few small Mass Effect 3 videos on YouTube, but they're deleted, and we'll talk about them later. But you will never ever find them. And then I remember watching E3 2013. It was with my friend who introduced me to Mass Effect, so he was a huge BioWare buff. And I remember seeing this BioWare trailer, and I was like, whoa, what? They just did Mass Effect 3. Surely they're not doing... And I remembered, oh, yes, they're creating the Dragon Age IP. And it was a cinematic trailer of just Dragon Age Inquisition's trailer. And I was like, oh my goodness, this looks amazing. And it was at the end when I got hooked when I saw Morrigan coming out with this massive Orlesian dress. And I was like, okay, yeah, I don't care that I had mixed feelings about this franchise before. I am going back into it, and I'm going to like it because I know that I'm going to like this new one because this looks amazing. And so from that period in 2013, seeing that trailer, I got obsessed with Dragon Age. I started then reading the books, then playing the games, and I literally not forced myself to like it, but I forced myself to give it a good try, to really delve into what it is, and just going through that combat system, downloading mods, and just going through it. And I was like, oh my goodness, I really missed out here when why did I skip on this franchise, and then from then on, I then started watching loads of really popular YouTubers at the time, like Ability Drain, GamerMD83, Biofan, Girl Tries Games, and I just got obsessed with this franchise, understanding the lore, the narrative, the gameplay, watching the PAX East gameplay like 500 times and being like, wait, Crestwood isn't like that now. Why is that the kid? But I was picking things apart, looking at how the game would be, looking at the perspective of it, how they were inspired by Skyrim, and it just went on from there to being like, okay, Dragon Age Inquisition is going to be the best game of all time for me, as about like a 15, 16-year-old, and it just grew from there, the love of Dragon Age franchise, and yeah, that's how I then proceeded to create a channel, which I'm sure we'll talk about later. But yeah, that's how my love started. It was from Mass Effect, from understanding BioWare, and then just from giving the games a try, having seen Inquisition coming out, and yeah, so my love really kind of started in 2013 for them.
I love the enthusiasm coming through as you tell this story. That sounds a lot. That's very similar to how I found Dragon Age. I think I found it probably. I probably finally got into it in 2012.
Yeah.
But yeah, like you, my biggest problem was the damn combat in Origins.
Yeah. And it was the Dragon Age 2 combat that I was like, okay, this is better. I can play this. Yeah. I like this. But now you just get mods for the combat. But it was just like when you play Mass Effect 2 and it's action and it's shooting and it's amazing combat, and then you play Dragon Age Origins, it's like hack, and you're like yeah, and then shoot, and it's like, okay, yeah, this is gonna take a while.
So you talked about how in the trailer, when Morrigan came out, that was when you got really excited and you decided to get into the game. Now, while you were playing, was there anything in particular that really grabbed you, that got your attention and made you want to dig deeper?
Oh, that's a good question. The characters. Right. Alistair Ferren is my favorite character. I love his dynamic. He's a bastard, but he's also actually the true heir to the throne. Right. the different character dynamics that you have for Mass Effect. You know, I love how BioWare can craft so many different characters and that are still the same studio, but in two different games. You know, you've got characters like Alistair who are completely different to obviously the other franchises, like characters like Fane. And it's like even though they use stereotypes, they have characters that are similar but completely different. And it's something unique to BioWare where they craft characters truly unique to their franchises. But it was the characters, like seeing Morrigan again. I remember, okay, I need to go back to Lovering and I need to get that sister, ginger-haired girl, obviously, Liliana. I was like, because I know
Ginger-haired
that she
girl.
can die. I was like, I need to get, because I was like, I remember her, talking about the Maker and being this faithfully introduced character and just being a bard. And I was like, I need to make sure that she stays alive. So it was, as when I was younger, it was the character attachments and it was the dynamics of understanding these characters and where they come from and their journey, and then building it up, obviously in Dragon Age Origins, which is obviously like a really dark story, this world that's
Hmm.
beaten, but you have these hopeful, joyous characters around you who really build you up, and it's the journey. So no, it's definitely the characters that want me to understand more. Like I love looking at Cole and Inquisition and just understanding every single piece of dialogue that he has
Yep.
to say, because when you pick that up, you're like, crap, you're talking about this character, or how flawed Blackwall is, or how Dorian struggles, or how Solas really is who isn't who he says he is, and how he has this complete um, characteristic of being a wolf. And there's so many things that they intricately work, and it's truly unique to BioWare in my opinion. I don't see that in The Witcher. I don't see that in many other games where they actually really delve into a character that's so distinct that like Cole, his dialogue is written on so many things, as well as Easter eggs,
Of course.
like like your Star Wars and like movies like The Sixth Sense. But also he's also got so much intrigue in the world. It's definitely the characters for me.
So, do you have? I know this is a heavy question, but do you have a favorite companion from each game? I know you said you love Alistair, you love Cole.
I love Alistair as a character, but as a companion, I'm always bringing Liliana because I love bards. I love bards. So I'd say Liliana as a companion. Yeah, Liliana as a companion. Dragon Age 2. I really like Sebastian. Not gonna
Yeah,
lie, I
thank.
like Sebastian.
I'm glad somebody else does. I
Stop
love
the
him too.
hate. Stop the hate for Sebastian. I love Sebastian. He's. I mean, like as a relationship, as a romance, I get it. But as a character, I really enjoyed Sebastian. So Sebastian, yes.
Yep.
Inquisition as a companion, like that's like as a companion, is it in terms of their combat style as well as their personality, or is it just in terms of as a character?
I'm thinking more in terms of a character. Like, who do you have the strongest bond with, personally?
Inquisition, probably. This is a hard one.
Yeah.
Um,
For me, I do think it's Cole and Varric is a
yeah,
close second.
yeah, yeah. Uh,
You don't have to
I'm
answer
probably
if you don't
I'm
want to.
probably Cassandra. Probably Cassandra.
Cassandra,
I'd say
that's
yeah.
yeah.
Because I was going into Inquisition and I was like, okay, I'm gonna romance her, and I am really interested in her character, and that's when I started binging, watching The Dawn of the Seeker, and getting involved in her character. But I would say, maybe not right now, but growing up, it was all about Cassandra. It was being with Cassandra, and it was using her all the time, and it was getting interested in the character. But also, like in Inquisition, like damn, like they really develop the friendship and relationship with Cassandra. Like she's a character that you are constantly talking to in cutscenes, in conversation. You're constantly engaging with Cassandra,
Hmm.
whether or not you choose to ignore her or be in a relationship with her. You're always talking to her back and forth. You're always going to her for aid, for advice. So, yeah, I'd say Cassandra.
Yeah, I remember my first playthrough. I was always bringing her because I felt like she started the Inquisition, so if she's gonna have
Yeah,
she's gonna have a lot of opinions.
exactly.
I was also my main party throughout the entire thing was the original three with Cassandra, Varric, and Solus, because Solus had a lot of
Ah,
interesting things to say, and I kept thinking at some point I'm gonna run into a character from DA2, and I need Varric to be there.
that's a good point. Yeah. I feel like that's for a first playthrough. They're the OGs.
Yeah.
That they're perfect.
So, that's companions. I don't see a lot of people talk about the side characters of the games, like Grand Cleric Althena or
Yeah.
I don't know, Bantegan. Do you have any particular side characters that really stand out to you?
Sandal.
Sandal? Okay, that's a good one. But,
Good old Sandal. I miss them, a Barry Warhound. R.I.P. wherever they are.
mm,
Mafal, who's I guess she's a main character. I mean, we
yeah, she's
beating around the
more.
bush.
Yeah.
She is a main. She's a villain. Side characters. Who have I grown to love? Ziffer.
Zither, really.
I love Ziffer. Oh, he's amazing. He's basically like David Bowie, but in
Yeah.
the Dragon Age franchise, and way more toned down.
Have you played a
Yeah.
lot of the Inquisition multiplayer?
I used to binge that. Yeah, I've got all the characters on Xbox. It's when when Inquisition finished, I obviously did my replayed playthroughs, but I had a bunch of friends at the time, and we just used to binge it, and it was great. I enjoyed it, and I played it up until the final DLC and the
Mm.
final character. I think it was the Qunari, the Qunari Fade mage. But yeah, I enjoyed it. Like, it's obviously not what you want from a Dragon Age game, but it's going to be in there, and it's Dragon Age content at the end of the day, so I'm going
Yeah.
to play it.
I did give it a try. I never really got into it. I think it's because I didn't have people to really play with because my friends and I had it on different platforms. So
Yeah, yeah. Well, if you ever want to play on PC, like, hit me up. Like, literally, like, they've added dragons, and me, Katie, Fussell, and Jordan literally spent about an hour of a stream fighting a dragon, and at the very last second, it killed us. But we were doing
oh
so well, but it was so fun just to watch, like, as we try to kill this dragon, and it was the very last second that it got us.
yeah,
But no, but if you ever want to play on PC, like, honestly, like, it's great, it's fun.
I love that. So all right, yeah, sticking with favorites. You mentioned Sandal and Mythal. This is a loaded one, so get ready.
Oh.
Do you have a favorite mystery? A favorite unanswered question?
Oh, that's a really good one. Let me look at my Tinfoil Tea Pie podcast. Maybe about Mafal, because Saria is really good about inquiring about Mafal, but like what is Mafal's deal? What it
Yeah.
probably to do with Mafal or Solas. But I'm going to say Mafal just for the heck of it. But like, what is her deal with taking the All Good Souls? What's her deal with Morrigan? With so many things going forward. Yeah. What is Mafal's deal? Why is she now only deciding to come back? What has she been planning throughout the ages? What is she doing? And why is her plan still not, sorted yet? Why is she still planning? And also, is she using Solas as kind of just as an object to just throw at her plan, or is she on the same side as Solas? Because Solas could just be a slave to Mafal. There's so many theories around what is going on, and is she just simply using Solas? Is Solas now possessing Mafal? Is Mafal possessing Solas? Like, Mafal, what is her deal? And it's so like I've had an hour conversations literally about Mafal, and towards the end of it, like, there's still so many things, so many unanswered questions. But yeah, like the secrets and the enigma of Mafal.
Yeah.
Um,
I
yeah,
think you and I have a lot of the same ideas about that
yeah,
whole Mythal situation because you bring up a lot in your videos how we only have the one side of the story. We don't have what the Evan said.
exactly.
So it's like
Yeah,
Solus, whatever else he is the trickster.
exactly.
Anything he says can be a lie.
Yeah, yeah. And even though he's pride, like, that doesn't mean he's not going to lie about it.
Yeah.
Sorry, even though he's wisdom, that doesn't mean he could be prideful about it. You know what I mean? Like, he could lie. Like, why would he want to tell us everything? That's why he deliberately hasn't told us everything.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, who were the two remaining old gods who are still living, quote unquote, in Thedas right now? Mafal and Solas. So you want to get the full side. You want to hear everything about that, and that's why I hope in Dragon Age 4, either we go to the Fade and hear memories of what happened, or we meet an old god companion, or we hear about what happened. But definitely, that's something that needs to be touched upon. So yeah,
Absolutely. Something that Dragon Age I think has done very well are villains and
yes,
their interactions with the player character and their backstories. I know you mentioned in one of your videos that Corypheus has a lot more story than they didn't really
yeah,
do it enough justice.
yeah.
So Yeah, who are some of your other favorite villains? Because I know for me, Logain is probably
Logan's
the one that
top.
engaged me the most.
Yeah, his whole the fact that you've got a massive demon to go kill, but you've also got Logan who's just being this, whole other douchebag in the other corner of the world. That's a really so the thing about Corypheus was Cepheus Alamadus before he was the conductor of science, whatever.
Hmm.
He literally can relate to Solas in terms of what he wanted to do, what he was trying to do, what he was trying to achieve. The better for his people, the better for his temple. Like there are so many relations to Solas in terms of the original Corypheus and how they tried, and I know that BioWare have a lot of regrets of Corypheus.
Hmm.
And I don't want to I don't want to complain about that. But at the end of the day, Corypheus, in my opinion, is a bit of a weak villain. But it is made up for the fact that we do have Solas, who is going to be an amazing, well-written villain. But I don't want to say Solas because he's not a villain right now. He's kind of just an anti-hero right now. Well, he's just morally grey right now. But other villains throughout Dragon Age, I really like the Mother. She was fun.
Oh, that's a good one.
The architect was very morally grey,
Oh, I
and I
like the
loved that.
architect.
Yeah, he was very morally grey. He wasn't just like, I will kill you. He's like, I wanted to stop the blight, and it's happened. Now I'm trying to stop it, and I was trying to do research. He's got a reason. He's got,
Hmm.
like Solas, he's got a reason why he did it. Um,
I think. What are your honest opinions on Meredith?
I do side of the Templars at the end, but that's
What?
only because I want my Hawk to be the new
Oh, come on.
what are they called? They're not
Viscount.
the Viscount, yeah. Only for our personal gain, but like, yeah, no, she's possessed. She's dumb. Obviously,
Yeah.
she's been taking too much delirium. But no, she wasn't a strong villain, but she wasn't a weak villain. I thought she was fine.
I think Meredith is the perfect. Ah, I think Meredith is the perfect example of a villain you love to hate, and
Yeah,
I love how they
yeah,
build her up throughout the game.
that's perfect.
She's just this person that you keep hearing about, and then when you first meet her during the Canary invasion,
Yeah.
I wouldn't say, I don't think she's the strongest villain of the Dragon Age series, but she definitely leaves an impact.
He definitely does, and I think that's the same with Corypheus and Dragon Age 2 Legacy DLC.
Hmm.
You actually feel sorry for him. Like he's like, what's gone on? Where's Tevinter? Where's my, the god that told me to do this? Why am I here? Basically, is what he's asking, and you're like, "I'm sorry, but that's long gone.
Yeah.
The time is kind of a bit over. But yeah, yeah, I probably would go with the architect. I think he was really well developed, and you
Hmm.
didn't necessarily want to kill him, even though he looked weird and he looked a bit goofy. You kind of were like, okay, that's why he did it. I get it. I get it now.
Yeah. Yeah, the architect is a fantastic character. I really want to see more of him in the future.
Me too, and that's why I'm excited that they were gonna bring him back for Inquisition, so he could somewhere still be out there
Hmm.
lurking.
So, we were talking about siding with the Templars and the architect. Choices and the morally gray choices throughout Dragon Age are one of my favorite things about it. Do you have a favorite choice?
I do, but it's a bit mean.
All right.
My hero of Reldin, I played him to be an absolute like jerk, like to be evil.
How do you do
So
that? I can't imagine doing that.
because he was gonna die, it was kind of like just why not?
All right.
Because I just wanted to play him as this absolute arrogant, noble human, just an absolute tosser, is what I'd say.
Hmm.
Um, I I like punching. You know, I like punching Al Egan's wife in the face. What's she called? Um,
Isolde.
Isolde, and then I like kind of cutting Connor. I
What?
like kind of killing Connor just because
What?
because you
Dude,
can do it. I
come
know, I
on.
know. Well, like when I played it, I was like, I don't have time to go to Circle of Magi. I want to get this done now. So, badoosh, and then I like having the old god baby. That's definitely like, whoa, you should be doing this. Um, what else can you do? It's pretty dark.
Killing the Dalish. That's a bad one.
Oh yeah, setting the werewolves completely. Yeah, that That is bad. I've done that one before. I have done that where you go back to the village and no one's there. Also, stealing the Dalish guy's girlfriend. You can sleep with his
Oh
his
my,
girlfriend.
that's terrible.
And he's like, "No, why would you do that?" And I was like, "Yeah, I'm gonna die. Why not?" Like again, I played my Grey Warden as an absolute douche. So everyone's like, "I want my Grey Warden to come back." I'm like, "I don't," because he's a douche. No one would like him.
Wait, you had the
Uh,
old god baby, but you said your
oh,
warden died.
like when you're playing it, you're like, this is a suicide mission. Like
Oh,
it's with
okay.
the intention, like you're playing it as like, when you're role playing your character, like, oh well, I'm not gonna, I'm probably not gonna survive this. This is a suicide mission. Um, but on other playthroughs, I have done the Orca baby. But on this specific one, I don't do that just so he does die because he needs to die because he's a douche.
Mm,
Um, what else have we got? Inquisition and Dragon Age 2, it gets a bit blurred because they kind of lose that dark fantasy.
hmm
Um, yeah, they're the main ones that.
Let me ask, in your personal canon, do
Yeah.
you spare Logain or do you execute him?
I execute him.
Mm.
Wait, no, I think I spare him so I can marry the queen.
Oh,
Yeah, no,
okay, of course.
I spare him so I can marry. Yeah, so I can marry. Yeah, so no, I don't execute him.
Well, all right then. So you marry Queen Honora. Who is your go-to romance for each game? Like I know you said you love Cassandra,
Yeah,
but yeah,
Liliana,
Liliana.
just so that's at least. I mean, I do marry Honora, and Liliana does become your mistress, but Liliana because it's queen.
Mm.
Um, then Dragon Age 2 is Isabella. Um,
Really? I never got into Isabella. I don't really
I,
get it.
I didn't get into Meryl. Eesh. And I could have met the voice actress for Meryl, but instead I met the voice actor for Solas. But I just couldn't get into Meryl. And I love her as an actress. I love watching. She's in Torchwood, which is this British drama. It's really
hmm
good, like Doctor Who. And I love her as an actress, but Meryl as a character, I just couldn't get into.
I mean, I can see that Meryl does. She I
So
love her.
whiny.
I love her, but she makes it hard sometimes.
Yeah, hard love. And then Inquisition. Inquisition is kind of a few. I do really like Josephine. I really, really enjoy Josephine, but at the same
Mm,
time, I enjoy romancing Stolas because, I mean, come on, why
of
not?
course.
And then I enjoy romancing Sarah because I think she can be fun at times, and also she like is British, but in terms of she's not like down south British. Her voice actress is from up north, so she has like the same voice as me, so I kind of relate to her more with her quips, with her stupid humor, with her swearing. That's like basically where I live, Yorkshire, where she's from Derbyshire. So it's the same. It's the same humor. It's the same kind of dialogue, and that's why everyone. I know a lot of people don't like her, don't get it, because she's like, cover now, get to it, and you're like, what? But genuinely, people where I live do speak like that. They speak pretty dumb, and that's I can relate to it. I get it. And I know a lot of people don't, but I like it. Who else? You got Solas, Josephine. You got Sarah. Josephine is my top. Josephine is peak.
Yeah.
Josephine peak. Cassandra, yeah, I enjoy, but Josephine's peak.
I know both of us have made videos about wanting a dwarven romance option in the future. It
Yes.
boggles the mind
Yes.
why we haven't gotten that already.
I know. What's going on? Like Scout Harding. Like she's right
Scout
there.
Harding,
She's right
yes.
there. She's the flirt icon is there. Just give us the romance.
I know. It's such a tease.
It
Uh,
is. It's like it's right there. Like we can just hold her hand and go to the beach. Like it doesn't need to be anything
yes.
like, crazy. Like, you know. So Dragon Age 4. Kunari female, dwarf female, and then whatever else. Like as long as we have a
Yeah.
dwarf female or a Kunari female, like that's it for me.
hmm Let's talk about future games. Is there, besides obviously Canary and dwarf romance options, is there anything in particular that you really, really want them to add?
Veya,
Okay.
please,
Okay.
as a romance option. I really like Veya. I like everything about Veya. I think she's a completely she's like a Robin Hood. She's based on Robin Hood, basically. Give to the poor. Steal from the top. Give to the poor. Yeah, I really like Veya. So give us that female elf, please. She can be. I think she would definitely just be straight up heterosexual. Because I mean, everyone says that because she flirts with Sebastian in Knight Errant. So it's like, okay, so she's interested in guys, But is she interested in girls? Not sure, but definitely Vaya. Um, are we asking what else I'd like for Dragon Age 4 as a whole, or
Yeah,
just character?
just as a
Oh,
whole,
pirate ship.
mechanics, pirate ships. I saw you uploaded a video on that recently.
Yeah. A hub, we had Skyhold and that was amazing, but like in Dragon Age 4, we're going to be sneaking around Northern Thedas. So, does it make sense to have a castle in the sky again or an estate in Twinta? Like, maybe. But I think if we're going to be a spy, if we're going to be sneaking around, Twinta, around Navarra, if we're going to those places, give us a ship. Let's go from port to port. Let's sneak around. Let's, have that kind of interesting dynamic.
I do think Tevinter, yeah, because they border on the ocean, and then you got Saharan right there. That would be
Yeah.
a good spot for some naval action.
Yeah,
I can't
bring
help but
back-
I think that would be more of a Antiva thing once we go there.
that's true. That's true.
But no, I totally agree with you. I would love some just to have a ship.
Yeah, and I mean, like, if it gets a bit boring, then get a few griffins and then put them on the ship, like in the last flight. Like they got the Aravals, and it's canon. They did it, so why not? But a griffin. If we don't get a ship, give us a griffin. And I know this is all like with how the Frostbite engine is going to go and the mechanics, but if we just wipe that stuff away for a second, if we're just going to be completely, wishful thinking, a griffin, please. The Inquisitor returning. Definitely something I really want. Like, it has to happen. There's no way that they can end with Trespassers ending and then be like, okay, that's the end of the Inquisitor. Like, they need to at least see Solas one more time, or explain who Solas is to our new protagonist.
Mm-hmm. I do
And
think.
just kind. Oh, continue.
I mean, I personally think they're gonna have agents like Scout Harding recruit the new protagonist, and then
That'd be cool.
they'll give you like the basic rundown, and then they'll kind of build up this
Build up that way.
yeah, build up to the Inquisitor, and that way when you finally see him or
It's
her,
like,
you're like, oh my god, yes.
Yeah, yeah. I want it to be like a. Are you much of a Star Wars fan?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, like in Last Jedi when you see Luke Skywalker again, you're like, it's Luke, yes. Like you want the build up to it. Like,
Right.
yes, we finally see this legend who's got one arm, and we finally see them again, and they can finally mentor us or tell us what's going on, like
Right.
that, like that sort of build up where it's like you wait an entire game and then you finally see them, but not to that extent, but just
Maybe like
having a good build up.
yeah, maybe like in the third act is when they finally
Yeah.
show up, and
Yeah.
you both race to stop Solus from doing his thing. That would be a lot of fun.
I think the idea that the veil getting destroyed would be interesting too, just for how they could go forward with the franchise. But I feel like that could be an epilogue of like Dragon Age 4, where okay, the veil's destroyed, and this is what's going to happen. Like now, Dragon Age 4 is going to be complete chaos. But if they get to that point, I still would just like a good, decent ending to Dragon Age 4. Just because the future of BioWare is a bit dicey, so just an entire self-contained narrative is what I really want for Dragon Age 4, just so that we know that, hey, at least we've had a good run with this game, and a good story with Solas and whatever's going to go on.
Yeah, absolutely. So I guess it's time to talk more about your channel.
Yeah.
So you mentioned you made a few Mass Effect 3 videos back in the day that are gone now. But when exactly did you start?
So I probably created a channel. It was called Skyrim Space Marine. It's the same
like it.
URL as Jackdaw, so you'll actually sometimes when people go on my homepage it says Skyrim Space Marine, and I'm like, I wish I could get rid of it, but unfortunately I can't. It's a permalink. But obviously you can change the URL. But so that was about 2011, and that was because I was obsessed with Skyrim and Warhammer 40k at the time. Again, I was a real nerd, but I created Minecraft videos of creating Skyrim and all of Cyrodiil in Minecraft, and I used to be like, hey guys, join my world on Minecraft. And I actually did make a friend from America who joined the world, and it had like 10 views. So again, I made a friendship out of that, but they're all deleted now. You'll never ever see them again. But then I don't know how much of Mass Effect 3's multiplayer you played.
Oh, I played it a bunch.
Oh, cool. Yeah, did you know about the rocket glitch?
The rocket glitch? No.
Basically, when you could pull out the rockets and you get like 5 every match, and you could use that to kill a big enemy.
Yeah.
What we did was I made videos on glitching the game where you'd swap out your guns and then you'd pull out your rocket launcher and then you'd have unlimited ammo of those rockets.
Oh god.
So we would be going through platinums and golds at like 10 minutes using the rocket glitch. And like I used to make videos on doing the rocket glitch and then saving up all of our coins, our Spectre points, whatever they're called, for the DLC packs that would come out when the DLCs came around. And then I would make videos on buying like 30 packs. Like, you get videos now of people opening like 20,000 loot boxes.
Yeah.
It was like that, but it was like 30 Spectre packs, and I'd be opening these boxes like, oh yes, I got a Volus. Oh look, I got this, and I was about 14 at the time, but I got fair views. And I remember people at school being like, oh yeah, I remember watching your video and how you used to open those packs, and I'd be like, yeah, good old days. And then when I actually got into Jackdaw, that was June 2016. So that's been about 3 years, just past 3 years. And I want to be a games journalist. That's something I've always wanted to be. I always want to be. I still want to be, and I'm still on that journey to eventually become that. But I used to watch Mr. Matty Plays. I used to watch GameSpot, IGN. I used to watch so many YouTubers, so many people, and they're going to E3 and they're going to talk to they're playing their favorite games. They're talking to the developers, and they're just in that environment of games. And I was like, okay, I want to do that in the future. I'm studying journalism next month, and this was 2016. And I was like, okay, there's no point in me hoping about being a games journalist. I need to do that now. So then I started JackdawJournalism in June 2016, just before I started university. So alongside my course, my degree, I then have a portfolio of work to go alongside it. I could meet games journalists in my course, and we could make videos together. Unfortunately, that didn't happen.
No.
But I was setting up for the future of how, alongside my degree, I'll have spare time, I'll have money, I'll have a finance that I can lend into. I'll have the freedom to this is the best time for me to do a YouTube channel. So I remember I got a lot of money from my finance. I bought a microphone, I bought my laptop. But before that, I was making Mass Effect Andromeda videos on a tablet. And I kept a few of them up now, and they're awful. But they got me to where I am today. But I was like, if I'm going to do anything, it's going to be Mass Effect Andromeda and BioWare going forward. Because I love those games. I've always loved them. And I'm super excited for Mass Effect Andromeda. And I'm super excited for the next Dragon Age game. And so I jumped on the E3 2016 bandwagon. And I did like Mass Effect Andromeda news from that, where we learned that Ryder was going to be called Ryder, and Sally Ride, and that we're going to have a dad, just stuff like that. And that's when I started, okay, I'm kind of distinguishing myself as a news channel. I don't know if that's what I want to do, but it's what I'm doing for now. And then I kind of delved into, okay, well, I kind of want to talk about what I want for these games. So then I did Dragon Age 4 wish lists. And then I did Mass Effect Andromeda wish lists, and then we got the news, and then I kind of started building up as okay, I'm a kind of a news and speculation channel, right? And then I started kind of doing a bit of lore on Mass Effect, and I was like, okay, so I'm now just a Mass Effect lore with news and speculation, and I kind of like built up the different content and growing in terms of, instead of just being a news and speculation, I'm kind of just a BioWare content creator, and I was. I was always inspired by Ability Drain, again, GamerMD, BioFan, Girl Tries Games, Mini SGC, BioWare Follower, so many BioWare content creators who I would binge watch, and I was inspired. And I was like, you know what? I've noticed none of them are, other than Ability Drain, none of them are British, but are guys, and are doing kind of that content that I do as much as anymore. Like, you look at BioFan, and he kind of stopped doing his news. He dwindled down, and he's not with us anymore. I say like he's dead.
Yeah.
But he's not. No, he's not. Yeah, but he stopped creating the news content, and I was like, well, no one's filling that void anymore, so I guess I'll start to fill that void. You got people who just kind of stopped doing the content, like GamerMD. Like there was just a lack of it, and I was like, okay, well, you know what? I'm going to try and fill that void. And so I was boarding the Mass Effect Andromeda hype train alongside a lot of Odyssey Gaming, Mini SGC, and all them. And I was going all right, and I was like, okay, Andromeda's going to be great. We're gonna, and it's a fair game. But I was doing, how what is Nakmor Drak going to be like, and content like who is Liam Costa, and we used to get like loads of Mass Effect Andromeda website updates. So I would do blog post updates on Mass Effect Andromeda, and looking at Cora, looking at what she looks like, how we can look at her character and what she'll be. Is she related to Luciman? Stuff like that, And the fall of Mass Effect Andromeda is when I then started to push Dragon Age content. Now I started doing that a bit before, because I was like, actually, I love Dragon Age, and Dragon Age 4 is going to happen, and I'll prepare for that right now before Mass Effect Andromeda comes out. But with the fall of Andromeda is when I kind of started jumping onto Dragon Age more, delving into the franchise again, replaying it, and then just falling in love with that game again, to a point where then I started doing, more wish lists, and then just creating all right content. I look at it now and I'm like, this video's all right, But yeah, and then from there it just grew and grew and grew to now a point where I'm creating content that I really like. I bought a camera so I can create vlogs if I want to. I started a podcast. I met Saria actually through my YouTube content, which is crazy. You know, you talk about like, you know, creating a YouTube channel and then meeting the partner of your life. Like, oh my goodness. But yeah, like that was 2018, and yeah, I just ever since I met Saria, my content's improved because she's very, very good at the law. And I'm like, hey, is this right? Can you check this for me? And she's like, yeah, it's fine, it's good. But yeah, it's grown and grown and grown to a point now where I wanna step up to different content. I wanna now kind of make more vlog content. I wanna be able to go to conferences. I wanna just become more of a YouTube personality as opposed to just a BioWare content creator. And it's my next step, and it's something I'm gonna work to for a while. But yeah, I wanna go to PAX East. I wanna meet Patrick Weeks. I wanna, you know, talk to other content creators, you know, like yourself. I wanna just be more in this community of BioWare, and I want to create more content for it. And you know, it can be hard because you know, I get writer's block and I have a full-time job and a long distance relationship. But you know, I want to constantly push constantly push on the BioWare community and just constantly pushing content. So yeah, for the future, looking forward, you know, I just bought a new microphone for my camera. So, you know, doing vlog content is something that I want to do. Ever since I made my Dear BioWare, please hire me video, I'm like, people actually like my stupid, daft humor. And like, that wasn't a sarcastic video. Like, that was me being like, BioWare, if you need someone, like, I'm here. But legit, people like that personality. And like, you know, I wasn't expecting people to like it as much as they did. So from that, I'm like, okay, people like that side to me. People like when I make just personality content. So I want to do more of that. And so I'm looking into that. But yeah, like, the future is hopefully going to E3, going to EA Play, talking to more content creators, doing more content with them, and just having fun in this community, you know, when news is announced and when Dragon Age 4 does come, you know. So yeah, the future is bright, but I feel like now is when I'm peaking, because last year was good, but now in 2019 is when my content is getting better and better and better, you know. And I'll say that, but I'll look back in a video I did a week ago, I was like, okay, that was rubbish. But again, that's just me. That's just me being like, you know, that's just trying to be self-improving all the time. But yeah, no, I'm excited for the future. But yeah, that's how it's kind of.
So you talk about how you want to branch out more. You want to do more than just BioWare stuff. What are some other games that you enjoy?
I really like the look of the Outer Worlds, but I know it's way too late to jump on that.
Yeah.
Fable 4 is something I was going to jump on, but that's still rumors. I'm like, oh damn! I was literally about to jump on that Elder Scrolls 6, but that's probably going to be rivaling Dragon Age 4 at this point. Games of choice and consequence. I did Life is Strange videos back in 2018, and they got okay. You know, the people liked them, but I decided to live stream them instead. Cyberpunk I'd love to do, but I feel like there are so many people doing that I don't think I can bring anything unique to the table.
Yeah, I feel like that a lot.
Yeah. Greedfall is Spider's new game. It's coming out in September. I don't know if you've seen that one.
I don't think so.
It's very in the same vein as BioWare. They created the Technomancer and Bound by Flame, and they're basically inspired by BioWare, I feel, and they're creating one that's coming out in September. And you play as this privateer. You've got this plague, and the idea is that you need to like cure yourself from this plague while going on this role-playing experience. So it looks interesting, but I might even do like a review of that, just to, you know, just for the sake of me going forward. I would like to branch out, but it's all content that it would be very similar to BioWare RPGs.
Right.
You know, if Kingdoms of Amalur 2 came out like next week, for instance, I would jump on that because that's so like BioWare, like Fable, like games that are medieval fantasy role-playing games that revolve around choice and consequence. You know, and loads of games now are pushing the envelope on that with dialogue, with choice and consequence, with so many different things. You know, you look at Fallout and how they're now doing different things, and Elder Scrolls, and you know, so you know, stuff like that.
And yet EA continues to insist multiplayer is where the money is.
I know, and
it's insanity.
It is. God of War was Game of the Year.
Yeah.
And how like, well, no, we need multiplayer, and that's, you know, that's going to be the sad thing about Dragon Age 4 is all of this time that is being put on a multiplayer could be spent on the single player, on developing a quest line, on developing more side quests, on developing romance arc, you know, so many things. But they're like, no, you need to make a multiplayer.
I
So
mean,
that's
I'm not opposed to multiplayer, but don't make that your focus, you know?
yeah, exactly, and live service, and that's why it's worrying to hear all those terms. But honestly, like you look into it, and it's not going to be that bad.
Hmm.
But again, it is EA, so there is some
Yeah.
skepticism of me being like, it would be good if I did more videos on other video games, just for the sake of security, just for myself, and just also there are so many other games out there that like why not?
Hmm.
The thing about me being called Jackdaw is that I don't need to just do BioWare. Like I can do other games if I wanted to, and that's something that I've thought about because locally there are a few other indie teams in the area, and for my university degree I did talk to those developers and I was like, do I upload this to my YouTube channel? I won't, but I could have done. But it's just something that I'm always thinking about, and it's something that I will start developing definitely within later this year. I think just so I have another quiver in my another arrow in my quiver.
Right.
Just.
That makes a lot of sense. So I think this will be the last question.
Yeah.
You put a lot of time and effort into your videos. Is there a video you are most proud of?
Let me. Ooh, I'm really proud of my Dear BioWare vlog one, but that
Hmm.
didn't take too long to make. I mean, it was just a production of it. Let me pick out one because I know I will definitely. I do have a playlist called Jackdaw's favorite creations or something like that. Just because I know that there are some videos that you can't really put a genre on, so I just put them in that playlist.
Hmm.
Um, Let me give it a look. There was. Can I name like top three?
Yeah, sure.
So there was my original theory video I did in like 2017. It was called Seven Magisters, Seven Deadly Sins. And that was the first ever video I made. And I felt so proud of making because it was my own theory. And like, it's dumb when I watch it now. But like, it's just the idea of what if each of the seven Magisters represented each of the seven deadly sins. And like, that's why Corypheus is prideful. And that's why the architect is, and that was one that was my first ever video where I was like, I really did a good job. I created a funny thumbnail and I really, really enjoyed it. And it also got a really good outcome of people watching it as well. So that'll be number one. Number two, um, my Corypheus one, the origin story of Corypheus.
Hmm.
That was one where I didn't think people would watch it at all and it exploded. But it also like was talking about how, I spent a lot of time on it, but how Corypheus, originally could have been something he wasn't, how Cepheus was built up in a different way. And yeah, that one was really, really fun to make, and people really liked it. Final one. Probably my first ever tinfoil tea party with Saria, because that's just like your first ever big collab. You're
Right.
like, not just a collab, but like a continuation of a podcast. And like that first one, I remember just having so much fun with it. The thumbnail, just hyping it up, and then actually editing it. I remember just being like, "This is like the best video I've ever made." And just because like I had Saria, who was very good at the law, and I'm okay at the law. That's why I don't do law that much, but I'm okay with it. I'm like
Hmm.
I'm getting better and better, obviously. But like it was a video that I was like, "Damn, I've actually, you know." legit made and forwarding a podcast to someone else and I was so proud of that mom.
All right. Well, I think that's it for the questions.
Dear Bible, you should hire me for Dragon Ball. Like that was just fun. That was stupid, stupid, dumb. But that is one of the things that I just like to do. I don't want to be too serious in my channel. I want to be open to just being goofy because at the end of the day, this is a personality channel. This is
Right.
me creating at my spare time. I don't do YouTube full time. I just have fun. And, at the end of the day, like you can't take life too seriously. And you can't take video games too seriously either. These are games where we are escaping to, defeat a mass, we want to crack open an egg at the end of the day. Like, we want to, where we have relationships in these games and we explore and we get up to, there's so many daft things in these games. And, I like to just have fun with it. So, yeah, probably, definitely most recently, that Dear Bioware one. Super, super fun.
Well, on that note, I think that's where we'll wrap this up. Thank you so much for
Yeah.
joining me.
Thank you so much, Cole, for having me on. Thank you. Really appreciate it.
All right. So, of course, your channel is going to be linked in the description.
Yeah.
I'll put up a link to some of the videos you mentioned.
I
And
appreciate it.
thank you all for joining us. I'll see you later.
Thanks, guys.